Hello, everyone. My name is Jalen Gaines, and today I'm going to talk to you about a project that I've been working on for some time, and that is a statistical analysis of shot success in basketball. So, for today's agenda, I'm going to uh, talk about the project's focus, the methodologies, the insights and the impacts from the project, and models used, and then the results. So this project focuses on analyzing what factors influence basketball shot outcomes using data from the 2019-2020 NBA season. Essentially, I'm diving into the numbers to better understand what drives shot success. So the goal is twofold. First, it's to provide actionable insights that could help improve scoring efficiency and coaching strategies, and second, to bridge the gap between data analytics and the decision making process in basketball. Um, I narrowed down my focus to two main variables. The first is shot distance, which measures how far a player is from the basket when they attempt a shot. Here, I'm looking at how distance impacts the likelihood of making a shot. The second variable is game quarter. So I'm examining whether the timing of the shot, like whether it's taken in the first quarter or overtime, affects the success rate. To explore these factors, I'm applying three statistical models, that being logistic regression, decision trees, and random forests. Hopefully, these will help me uncover patterns and relationships in the data to give me a deeper insight into shot outcomes. So the data set that I'm working with is detailed play-by-play data from the 2019-2020 NBA season. It is a rich source of information um, to analyze shot outcomes and the game dynamics. So from this data set, I identified three key variables to focus on. So the shot distance, which is shot dist, that's the variable name. This captures how far a player is from the basket when attempting a shot. And then the second one is shot outcome. So the variable for this is shot outcome, which simply records whether the shot was a make or a miss. And then the last variable is quarter, which divides the game into segments. So those segments being quarter 1 through 4, and then it includes overtime periods as well. Um, Hopefully, focusing on these variables, we can start identifying patterns that reveal what factors might be influencing shot success at different stages of the game. So the data set that I'm working with was quite extensive. It contained 539,000 rows, so over 539,000 rows, and 35 columns in total. So it's a lot of data to work with and analyze. One important note is that the data set is complete and there are no missing values, which ensures the integrity of the analysis and saves us time on data cleaning. And when you look at the shot distance statistics, we can draw several insights. The mean shot distance is about 14 feet. It shows that basically, on average, players take mid-range shots. The standard deviation was like 10.85 feet, so nearly 11 feet. This shows a wide variability in shot distances. Um, so that's kind of like saying that there's a mix of close range and long range attempts. The median distance it was also 14 feet. So this confirms that the mid-range shots are the most common. And then the maximum distance is 88 feet, which represents those long range attempts, those buzzer beaters, or those desperation shots. Um, so as far as data cleaning goes, I reformatted the quarter variable, and I changed the type from numeric to factors, and I did that by using the pipe operator mutate and then changing the quarter column type of the quarter, the type of the column, from numeric to factors, so that way it can be divided up into quarters, so quarter one through quarter four, and include overtime and overtime two. And then I did some feature engineering where I created a column called time elapsed, which is the total seconds elapsed in the game. And I also use the pipe operator and mutate to do this as well. So the time elapsed, those are the time in seconds. That's all I did. So here, um, I was exploring the relationship between shot distance and shot outcomes. So whether a shot is made or missed. So on the right, you can see the box plot showing the distribution of shot distances for both successful and missed shots. Different shot types like dunks, jump shots, and three-pointers are represented in the legend, and they're color-coded. There are two main takeaways from this analysis straight off the bat. Shorter shots, so like the layups and the close range jump shots, tend to have much higher success rates. And that's pretty evident in the that's pretty evident just from the clustering of makes at lower distances. Um, and on the other hand, longer shots, uh, like those long two-pointers and three-pointers, result in more misses, which is reflected in the wider spread and higher distances for missed shots. Um, so the graph really highlighted how distance is a critical factor in determining shot success, which could, like I said, this could provide insights for players and coaches, um, aiming to improve scoring efficiency in the NBA or on the college level or in high school. Um, in this analysis, I looked at how shot outcomes, the makes versus the misses, vary across the quarters of a basketball game. So on the left, you see the bar chart that breaks down the number of made and missed shots for each quarter, including the overtime periods. From this chart, you can see a few interesting trends. In quarter one and quarter two, the number of makes and misses are fairly balanced, which shows consistent performance in the first half. So it's pretty consistent across those two quarters. When you move into quarter three, there's a slight increase in the number of misses, which could indicate that there is some fatigue going on, or the teams made some defensive adjustments. And then quarter four, it stands out a little bit with a noticeable rise in missed shots, which is possibly reflected by the in-game pressure or more difficult shot attempts. And overtime and double overtime, there's a sharp reduction in the total number of attempts. And this could be due to prioritizing high percentage shots during those critical periods. Um, in this one analysis, it shows how shot distance varies over the course of a game. So looking at both successful and missed shots. The scatter plot on the right displays shot distance over time, broken down by the game quarters and overtime periods. Each dot represents an attempted shot, with colors indicating whether the shot was made or missed. So you see that in the legend. And there are a few noticeable trends. Most shots are taken within 30 feet of the basket, which is consistent throughout the game. There are some sporadic long range attempts, and that could be like a buzzer beater or half court shots that appear throughout all the quarters. And in overtime periods, the focus shifts to close range, high percentage attempts as the teams prioritize efficiency under pressure. So this analysis really helped me show and emphasize how shot distance and strategy evolve as the game progresses, with those critical adjustments during high stakes periods like the overtime. So in this slide, I provide a summary of key statistics related to distances in the data set, or the shot distances in the data set. So The metrics used will help us understand the distribution and tendencies of the shot attempts. So when you look closer at the statistics, the mean shot distance is about 14 feet. Um, so that just shows that most shots fall within the mid-range area. We mentioned earlier that the standard deviation was 11 feet or nearly 11 feet, which shows the variability in shot distances ranging from close range layups to long range attempts. So those long range two-pointers. Uh, the minimum shot distance is 0 feet, and that's just saying that uh, the shots that come from this area are right underneath the basket. At the first quartile, which is 3 feet, we see that 25% of shots are very close to the basket, like those layups and those short jumpers. The median distance is 14 feet, and this emphasizes the prevalence of mid-range attempts. By the third quartile, the 25 feet area, 75% of shots fall within close or mid-range distances. Um, and then finally, you got the maximum distance of 88 feet, which reflects those rare long-range desperation shot attempts. And then from these statistics, we can make several observations. So most of the shots occur within close to mid-range distances. The distribution highlights a focus on high percentage, closer shots, while the data is skewed shorter distances toward shorter distances. You can still see the occasional long-range attempts, um, which is reflecting those strategic plays or end of quarter scenarios. Um, and in my opinion, the summary statistics lay the foundation for getting into like a deeper analysis of your data. And this will help us explore how shot distance impacts outcomes and game strategy. So my primary objective here is just to predict shot outcomes, whether a shot is made or missed. I was using two key variables, shot distance and quarter. And when I model these relationships, I'm trying to understand what factors most influence the success of the shot being made. So to achieve this, I utilize three different models. The logistic regression model, and this was used for understanding the probability of shot success based on our predictors. And then two, decision tree, that was used to uncover nonlinear relationships and its easily interpretable decision rules. And three, a random forest, which builds on those decision trees to improve accuracy and reduce overfitting by averaging multiple trees. Um, and really, I have two goals. First is to assess the relationship between the predictors, and second is to um, compare the performance and interpretability of the models. And this would help me determine which is most effective for this analysis. So when I do all of this, I can get a better understanding of the dynamics of shot success and identify, um, patterns for improving basketball strategy. So logistic regression was used as the baseline model to examine the relationships between predictors, shot distance, and quarter, and shot outcomes. And it also provides an understanding uh, of how variables influence success. So uh, from the results, it revealed two key uh, insights. Shot distance had a significant negative impact on success, which means the farther the shot, the lower the likelihood of making it. This was statistically significant, as you can see in the p-value. The quarter variable had minimal impact overall, except for Q4 and overtime, where it was statistically significant but not substantial. So when you look at the model, The model's accuracy was about 40%, meaning it correctly predicted shot outcomes 40% of the time. Sensitivity, or the ability to identify successful shots, was 45.51%, while specificity, or basically identifying missed shots, was lower at 35.34%. The kappa statistic, and this measures the agreement between predictions and actual outcomes, was negative, which really meant that it was a poor alignment. Um, in my opinion, logistic regression is straightforward and interpretable. It just struggles with nonlinear relationships. So this limitation likely uh, is due to the poor performance and low agreement between the predictions and the actual outcomes. So, like I said, logistic regression was used as the baseline, and I don't think that this may be sufficient for capturing the complexity of the basketball shot outcomes. So, I'm going to go to the next model. So, the decision tree model, it helps us identify key decision rules for predicting shot outcomes, and providing a simple and interpretable approach to analyzing our data. As shown in the tree, shot distance is the dominant factor influencing outcomes. So the model splits at a threshold of 3 feet. If the shot is within 3 feet, there's a high success rate of 88.8%. For shots beyond 3 feet, the success rate drops significantly, with most attempts resulting in misses. And this confirms the importance of close range attempts in achieving higher success rates, which aligns with what we expect in basketball dynamics. You need to get a bucket. So, from the decision tree, it offers a clear, interpretable rules, making it easy to understand the factors driving outcomes. And additionally, they handle nonlinear relationships well, unlike logistic regression. But decision trees don't account for the contextual factors like the quarter or the game situation unless explicitly included. So there's also a risk of overfitting the data, especially if the tree isn't pruned. While the decision tree did provide some good insights, I'll need to evaluate a more robust model to ensure accuracy and account for additional variables. Um, the random forest model builds on the decision trees by using the ensemble approach. So this enhances prediction accuracy and reduces the risk of overfitting by averaging across multiple trees. So from the model, I observed that shot distance is the most significant predictor, as indicated by its high mean degrees in Gini score. This reinforces its critical role in determining the shot outcomes. Quarter variable contributes minimally to predictive power, which suggests that game phase has less influence on the outcome compared to shot distance. The model achieved an accuracy of 63.27%, which is a substantial improvement over the logistic regression and decision tree models. Random forests are particularly effective at capturing complex patterns in the data, while also reducing overfitting, which is a limitation of just a single decision tree. However, the interpretability of random forests is lower compared to decision trees, making it harder to directly explain specific predictions. But overall, the random forest model provided a robust and accurate prediction framework, especially for understanding the impact of shot distance on outcomes. So this sets the stage for optimizing strategies in basketball analytics, honestly. Uh, so as you can see, um, I have a comparison of the three models: the logistic regression, decision tree model, and random forest. And based on their performance, strengths, and weaknesses. So my goal was really to identify the best model for predicting shot outcomes. And from this comparison, we can draw two main conclusions. The random forest emerges as the most robust model. It offers the highest accuracy in effectively capturing complex patterns in the data. The logistic regression, while it's simple and interpretable, it lacks the predictive power needed for this data set with significantly lower accuracy. So really, this slide focuses on translating my findings into those actionable strategies and insights for both players and coaches. So these insights really they were aimed to enhance game performance through data-driven decisions. For players, the data suggests you need to emphasize close range shots, so those within 3 feet, to maximize your scoring efficiency, because those shots have the highest success rates. And you need to, it's like deprioritizing reliance on the game quarter as a major factor. Since quarter had minimal predictive impact on shot. So just try to get closer to the basket. Don't really worry about time of the game or anything like that. Just as long as you get close to the basket, closer you get to the basket when you're shooting those shots, you have a higher success rate for those shots being made. For coaches, the findings highlight that using analytics to identify and focus on high percentage shot zones or shot areas, you can do that during practice and whenever you're planning for games. And if you integrate player specific data like fatigue levels or defensive pressure, this will allow you to refine your strategies further and account for situational factors. I feel like for both players and coaches, these strategies can um, help you leverage data to improve decision making on the court and ultimately leading to more effective and efficient game performance. So, in any analysis, it's important to recognize the limitations of the approach and outline directions for future research. So, this ensures that my findings are interpreted within the right context and can be expanded upon for better insights. So, the limitations for this analysis are that I'm missing some contextual factors like fatigue, defensive pressure, and shot type, which could significantly influence shot outcomes. The random forest model, while it's robust, has reduced interpretability, making it harder to apply directly in practical decision making scenarios. So, to address these limitations, future research could focus on adding contextual variables to the data set, which would provide a more holistic understanding of shot success. And also exploring advanced models that balance predictive power with interpretability, making them, more useful for the coaches, analysts, and the players. So I feel like once you address the limitations and follow these directions, you'll be able to further enhance the practical implications of this analysis, which ultimately provides deeper and more actionable insights for basketball strategy. So my analysis confirms that shot distance is a critical factor in shot success. The data clearly shows that shorter distance shots lead to significantly higher efficiency, which is, I mean, it aligns with our expectations. Um, from a modeling perspective, the random forest model proved most effective at capturing the complexity of shot outcomes. However, its reduced interpretability presents challenges when applying it directly in practice. And balancing predictive power with interpretability remains a key consideration. Looking ahead, one of the most important steps that I plan to do is to incorporate more contextual factors like fatigue, defensive positioning, shot type into the analysis. Hopefully, these additions will provide a more comprehensive view and help refine strategies for both players and coaches. So, after you know, understanding and going through the processes, I feel like these findings not only deepened my understanding of the shot success, but it also paves the way for using advanced analytics to inform better decision making in basketball. With that being said, that wraps up my PowerPoint, and I thank you all for tuning in and uh, viewing this. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. Once again, I want to thank Dr. Mustafa A&T for helping me choose my data set and helping me understand R Studio and the programming language. So thank you once again, and this wraps up the video.